Okay. Now I want you to clearly see how he keeps saying. Remember, I said every time he bring it up, he makes sure he's in that statement. Remember, I said that earlier.
Okay.
No, remember I said that earlier. Anybody remember when I said that?
Yes.
I said when he speak it, he gonna make sure he's in there. Now watch what he said. He said, "For I am the Spirit of God." You see, he said that brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. Ye shall therefore be what?
Separated.
Exactly, because he's saying what? For I am
Separated.
That's all he's saying. He's saying, but you be separated unto who? Unto
Him. His way.
Exactly what he's saying. But he said, but he's not saying this the first time. He's gonna make himself clear again. Watch how he says it again around. He says, "For I am the Lord, the Spirit of your God." So he's telling you he's the Spirit of your God. He's making himself perfectly clear. He said, "Ye should therefore." What do this mean?
Sanctify.
No. So what does it mean?
Sanctify is to. I don't know.
Okay. Can somebody help?
Not a covenant.
Can somebody clarify that for?
Can't think.
Clean.
Huh?
Separate.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you should say that. You should separate yourself. That's all he's saying. He's just using another word, but it means the same thing. He says, "For I am the Spirit of your God. Ye shall therefore separate yourselves, and ye shall be what? Separated." He's telling you the same thing. He ain't changed. He says, "For I am separated, neither shall you defile yourselves with any matter of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." He's telling you exactly what he wants you to understand. So now, the same thing is, when you separated unto the Lord, because the reason he said you got to separate yourself, because he said all these things here. You see where I'm going? I'm just going up. You got to separate. Why? Let's look at something. Let's go up a little bit. And let's see something. We'll say, let me go up here. Okay, we'll start at verse 10. All right. So he says, "For all that have no fins, no scales in the seas and in the rivers, all that move in the waters and all living things which are in the waters, ye shall be an abomination unto who?"
Unto you, us.
Okay, wait a minute. So is it saying it's unclean?
Yes.
Unclean. Is it unclean to everybody?
Just unto who he's talking to.
No. I'm not asking that question. See, you trying. This is unclean to who?
To me.
What do it say right up there?
And all that have no fins nor scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and the knowledge of any living thing which is in the waters. So it's saying to all the people who are in the knowledge of God, it's unclean to them.
No, you're only talking to one people.
To Israel.
It's unclean to you. Okay. He's making himself perfectly clear. Let's go up a little bit. And he constantly says this. So the same thing is, watch how he's making this clear. It says, "in the swine." And we got a lot of people back here still eating swine. Believe me, some people back here still doing it. It says, "Thou in those divided of hoof," we got to know what that means, "and be cloven for it, yet he cheweth not the cud." That's a full thought. He's unclean to who?
Israel.
No, it's unclean to who?
You.
See, don't try to include everybody else. What is this? What do that say?
To you, me. It's unclean
to you.
Right.
Now, is it unclean?
It's unclean, yes.
No, I'm not asking you that. Is it unclean?
He said it is unclean.
No. That's not what I'm asking you. Is it unclean?
Yes.
No, that's not the truth.
I don't know what you're asking.
Okay. Let me bring my wife back up because she was the one in there, so I'm put both of y'all in the same bed. Sweetie, unmic. Hey, don't make me come downstairs and beat you. I don't want people. Okay, you unmic. Okay, so sweetie, what is that saying right there? I can't hear you. Valerie.
And the swine, though he divided the hoof,
Uh-huh.
cloven footed. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So is the swine unclean?
Yes.
Okay, Elder Johnson, the swine is not unclean, but it's what God said he's unclean. That's why he's unclean. Because everything that God made was good and for his own purpose. Okay.
Let's go here.
I don't know.
Let's go here.
He's,
Sweetie, can you read that?
Where is it?
Right at the bottom. So
Genesis 1 and 11.
No, 131. Right down here. Right down here.
Okay.
Just the highlighted part.
Everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And
okay. So we know right here it says, and remember. So we know behold is remember, and remember it was very good. So now I'm gonna go up here and ask you again. Is the swine unclean?
No.
Thank you. It's not unclean. It's unclean to you.
Right. That's what Sister Donna said. Correct.
No, but she wasn't saying that. She's still sitting there thinking just unclean, but it's only unclean to you. Now, so when other people eat it, because he's seeing people eating it, he's saying, no, that's where it goes back down here. We're going to go back down here. He says, for I am the Lord your God. Ye should therefore sanctify yourself and ye should be separated. Because he's telling you all those things, they're going to use those things for other reasons. They're going to eat them and do all these things. And he's saying, you don't do it because you separated unto me. These things is unholy to him. The reason why they got to be separated from him, because let's look at a catfish. Well, I don't think you might, but the catfish is a bottom feeder. The catfish is anything that's on the ground because he cleans the bottom of the rivers. So people still going to eat them. But he's saying other people going to eat them, but to you, you don't eat it because it's unclean to you. And these animals, these things that's down there, you don't have no fins. Some of them don't have no scales. The catfish don't have no scales. So he's saying, so it's unclean to you, so you can't eat it. So this the way I can make a difference. As he's saying it, he says, actually he goes right down here. And he says, for I am the Lord to bring you up out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and ye should therefore be holy. Why? Because he's making all these things clear to what you don't get involved in. They're gonna, same thing like with mussels. People eat mussels and people eat clams. Clams cleans all the poop and the stuff that's floating around in the oceans. And they eat this stuff, and people sitting there getting oyster half shell and sucking them up and all that stuff. But then when they get these diseases on them, they get these viruses on them, they don't know what's going on. The same thing with crabs. Crabs don't have a body to where it can clean itself. So everything that they ingest, it builds up their flesh in the flesh that people eat. So as it's building itself up and it's eating whatever it is, now whatever it eats on and whatever it takes on, it goes into that person that's eating it. That's what's going on. But God is saying, okay, anything that don't have fins and scales that's in the water, he says don't eat it. Because he's making it clear. He said you should sanctify yourself, and you should therefore be separated. For I am separated, neither shall you defile yourself with any matter of creeping thing that creep upon the earth, because he's making that clear to where you can put a difference between you and them. That's why he says that. And he gets into it. He said, you should not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creep upon the earth, and make yourselves unclean with them. That's why he said, with them, you should in that you should be defiled. That's why he says all that. That's why we keep going up. That's why he keeps saying this. He keep making all these things there because he need to make sure you put a difference between them and you. Because he said this is unclean to you. Okay, well, they say, oh, so what about Joey down the street? He ain't talking to Joey. It's the same as when a little kid go outside and you go out there and you tell your child, hey, you be in at 6 o'clock. He can be out there with 15 friends. You can't tell them you only want to know, Joey, time for you to be in the house at 6 o'clock. What about my friend? I ain't talking about your friend. I'm talking about you, Joey. That's the point of this. People where it's unclean. Okay, it's unclean. So if it's unclean, you already know it's unclean to him, and he don't dwell in no unclean thing.
Okay, so Satan can be holy, but he's not a holy thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a holy thing unto God.
He's not a holy thing unto God. Okay.
Yes.
Like say these preachers in the churches. You know, they always saying they offering holy sacrifices. We know that's lies, but so that's a holy they offering a holy things that are not holy. They just they separate in the wrong way.
Yeah, same thing you'll see right here. We'll go to Wisdom of Solomon. Show you something. Solomon, he actually tears this down pretty good. And he tells you, he says again, one preparing himself to sail, letting you know that he passed through the raging waters, the raging wave in a piece of wood. You see how he's talking about a piece of wood, letting you know it's going to be a building. But he said, and the vessels that carry them. For verily the desire of gain. You see what that's saying? The desire of gain. Devised that the workman built by his skill, by the providence, O Father, governeth it, for thou hast made thy way in the sea. So it's talking about among the people, in a safe pathway in the ways, showing that thou canst save from all dangers. So you tell me, how many people sit there saying, you come into the church, this is a place of God. Same thing I showed y'all with that Spires guy. He's sitting there saying he don't truly believe in God anymore because the church, these churches that is called God, people getting killed in there, that this place is called God. It makes no sense. And people getting robbed, killed, and everything in a church. But people will tell you this is supposed to be a safe haven. How many people have heard that? You hear it all the time. They'll say this is a safe haven where God is. But it's saying, because what? They're saying they can save you from these things, but it can't. And it goes on more. It says, from all dangers, yea, though a man went to the sea without art. Do anybody know what art means? I use it a lot.
Beauty and perfection.
Okay, so he went out there without what?
Sir?
Yes.
What did you just ask?
So he said, though a man went to sea, so he went amongst the people without what?
Beauty and perfection.
You see how they're saying this? But most people think, oh, art. And then they don't even know what art means, but you reading under the text.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we teach here. That's why it's so important. So now he went out there without the beauty and perfection of what?
Of the Lord.
But no, we want to know exactly what he went out there without. So is of the Lord what?
His protection.
No, he went out there when we talk about the beauty and perfection. What is the beauty and perfection of God? It's God's righteousness. It's his law. That's what he went out there with. It's telling you without beauty and perfection, meaning he went out there without the beauty and perfection of God. So he went out there without God's law. Mm-hmm. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Now watch what happens. He goes on. It says, nevertheless, thou wouldest not that the works of thy wisdom should be idle, and therefore do men commit their lives to a small piece of wood, and passing the rough sea in a weak vessel are saved. You see how he's saying this? Solomon is tearing this so down for you, showing you exactly what we get into. So now, how many places people say, if you want to be saved, come to this church?
A lot.
You hear it all the time. Oh, we gonna come here. You want to hear the truth? Come to this place. You want to be saved? Come to this place.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Have I told you come here to be saved?
Never.
You ain't never said it. Why I'm gonna bring it out there? Because I don't know if you're gonna take on to the knowledge or not. I can tell you what you need to do to get saved.
Right.
You got to do it to the end. I can't save you.
No.
I can give you the knowledge to where you can save yourself. Because he's telling you, you have to try the spirits. If it come off to you that I'm a lying spirit, then you need to cut me loose. Go find somewhere where you can go. But watch, it gets better. It says, for in the old time also, when the proud, how did this proud get in here where it's talking about this ship? You see how you see this is how Solomon plays this. It says proud giants. So we know these are evil men, perish. The hope of the world governed by the hand. So what is a hand? What do hand mean?
Power.
So we know, so now governed by the power, escaped a weak vessel. You see how he's saying, you see how he's playing this? And left to all ages a seed of generation. Meaning it's going to continue to go on. That's why you see these churches all the time. Now watch this. For blessed, what do blessed mean?
Wisdom is given.
Okay, so now watch this. So wisdom is given is the wood. Now what did that just tell you?
That church, that's wisdom that's not from God.
Wisdom, they're saying in that building.
In the building, right.
Nobody got to be there, but it's saying wisdom is given by the wood. So you can be able to go into church, the preacher don't have to be in there, and wisdom going to be given to you. So let's look at this better. How many people you have seen go in churches just sitting there saying, I'm just in here with God's presence? Have you ever seen where you go to a hospital when somebody's loved one is going on, they call this place a place of worship that's down below where they can go sit in there and they just sit in this little chapel and they just sit in there saying they praying to God. Ain't nobody in there but this thing and a cross. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, sir. I have.
Okay. That's why I'm saying wisdom given is the wood whereby righteousness cometh. That's not the truth. Because guess what? Solomon going to explain it to you. You see what he says, but you see how you get that? But that which is made with hands, as he tells you in Hebrews 9:24, Christ don't even reside in place buildings made with hands. He said that made with hands is what? Cursed. Okay, so watch this. Same thing, we're going to run right through it. Hebrews 9, verse 24. Tell you, Christ is not in the holy places made with hands. But people will sit there and then they're going to sit there and tell the lie. Oh, Elder Johnson's lying. He's lying about this. But it's telling you, Solomon letting you know that which is made with hands is cursed, as well as that as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, it was called what? God. You got these places, oh, this is the church of God. This is the church of Christ. This is the church of all these places. It's called this holiness. You name it, it's there. And he already told you it's not there. That which is made with hands is cursed. But people say, well, we can't forsake assembly. No, you said it wrong. It says not forsaken. But they sit there and said the same thing. So many people is going to bust hell wide open. People think it's so many millions of us, God ain't gonna get rid of. You really think so? You don't think he'll get rid of millions of people? And he told Moses right off the bat, Moses, they done defiled themselves. Hey, Moses, I'll start all over. I'll make you a new nation. And he was gonna take out everybody. And you don't think he'll take out us? You think people sitting there saying that, oh, we're so good, we so bad. That's why I say those are the Israelites. That's what he held on the Israelites. It ain't for us. We're New Testament believers. He'll get rid of you in a heartbeat. But it gets better. It says, for the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God. For that which is made, that building, shall be punished together with them that made it. So the same people sitting in these buildings, same thing. We got our mothers, brothers, husbands, wives. We got some of them cousins, sons, daughters, you name them. They sitting in those buildings. If they hold on to that until the time's end, you can sit there and you ain't got to worry about it. They gonna bust hell wide open. People don't even like me saying that. But that's what, but why sit there and lie to you and say, well, they might gonna be all right. No, they're gonna bust hell wide open. He's telling you right there, that which is made shall be punished. And if you in there and you think you going to this place that is called God and you letting that deceive you, did not Paul tell you over here, let no man deceive you by any means? Should that day come except there be a falling away first? You see it right over here. And we didn't let a man deceive us. This man sitting there talking about he's a man of God. That's why when I sit there and men call themselves, well, I'm an elder of this church. And they say, well, we elder. Hell no. No. Don't ever try to mix me with you. Because I'm going to call you by your name. This is why I do that. Because I don't never want to get mixed up with them. Same thing. I done went to funerals where people done sat there and they'll sit there and they'll have other men and they done ask me to come up to sit with them. No, I'm going to sit my butt right down here because I don't need nobody to get mixed up with me, with them. I'm not going to do it. Just to sit up there and say, oh yeah, hey, let people see. Hell no, I'm going to sit right down there with the people. Paying my respects to that person and I bounce. That's it. But nowhere in the world you're going to sit there, man, why you didn't sit up there? Dude, we two different people. Two different people. Don't ever get mixed up. You make a difference between you and them. That's why he says, when he's sitting there saying this unclean to you, this unclean to you, the same with people. You put a difference between them. You don't get mixed in with what they mixed in with. You don't play the game with them. You don't sit there and say, well, I want people to know who I am. I can care less. Don't ever get mixed up with it. That's why this is saying this. This is why people are sitting there saying, can things be separated unto Satan? Yeah, because God's going to separate from you. The same thing you see when Moses said, he said, all who's on the Lord's side, what did he say? Come over here. Separate yourselves over here. And then when they didn't, all the ones stayed over there, what did he say? Every man take his sword, you kill your wife, you kill your children, you kill. You better not go over there and think you're going to kill somebody. Well, I ain't going to kill you. Well, I ain't going to kill her. No, you killed everybody who's on that side. And if ain't nobody seen it, I'll show you the verse. Because he said, kill every man, your brother, your companion. He said, you take them all out. Have anybody not seen that? Actually, let me see. Yeah, dang it.